So we're about to start, and a little bit of context here. Mike Henderson, for those who don't know him, he's a product specialist for Traktor and I think Denon at the moment, also iZotope. And but he's been around for quite a while. He's a tour manager for a lot of great DJs that most of them use digital DJing technology, such as Dubfire, Sharam, I think Danny Tenaglia, I don't, maybe Nicole Mudaber also. I think you've, even, I don't know if I'm wrong, but maybe even Carl Cox. Have you done tour management for Carl Cox?
Well, I've been helping with his Traktor setup for like at least 10 years, but he's using Rekordbox right now. But I mean, I've worked with Sasha, Pete Tong, Victor Calderon. You know, they all the DJs were passing me around for many years when the digital DJ bang happened, and you know, here we are today, and now I'm working a lot with Den and DJ. So, you know, that's really taken my DJing into the future. And I'm still working with Native Instruments now for 12 years. So get to see a lot of things going on in the DJ world.
Exactly. I mean, Mike has covered a lot of advanced technologies for DJing for the past 10 years. And he's also a teacher. He's an instructor at Berkeley. And so Mike and I talk about this situation of trying to find music with all the huge amount of songs that we can find nowadays with all these streaming platforms. And in a way it's great that we are capable of finding so much music, but it's very demanding, and we might lose ourselves in trying to find the best way, the best workflow to actually find the music that we're looking for our sound, and organizing them quickly in order for us to be ready to play it either on CDJs, SCs, units, and any DJ software. So that's what this masterclass is about. Feel free to ask any questions. There's a Q&A button in the Zoom platform. You can write down your questions there, and if at some point it's a good idea, we can even allow you guys to do the question live using your microphone. So feel free to ask anything about these topics, and Mike is going to cover a lot of things and tools, maybe very unknown tools. So that's part of the exciting things about this masterclass. So Mike,
yeah,
yours, man.
Great. Well, I mean, like you mentioned, Esteban, you know, there's a lot of music that DJs have to go through, and I think most of the people here are DJs, so you all know that. But I think what's relevant to right now is that, you know, we just had a 15-month pandemic. We've all been trapped in our houses. So the landscape of DJing has changed. People are now live streaming, but also the amount of music that is coming out right now is way beyond what we have ever experienced in our lifetime. There are thousands of amazing tracks released every week. So it's like, how do you stay on top of that? How do you go through all that and still stay sane as a person and, you know, have a real life too? So I'm going to just talk about some of my tricks and how I've been navigating through all the insane amount of music. I'm not going to say that my way is the right way or the best way, but I'm going to share some tricks that hopefully help you all in your musical journey. So I guess I'll just jump in. All right. So as a lot of you are DJs, you might be familiar with the website Beatport.com. Beatport is basically the global hub for electronic dance music. Pretty much most music is released on Beatport that's electronic music. And I've been using Beatport now for, I don't know, like 20 years. And throughout my career, I'm always obsessively following artists, following labels, digging through Beatport, trying to find new artists and labels to follow. Sifting through my own playlist and being like, okay, who's this vocalist? Let's see what other stuff they've done. So here, I'm just going to share my screen, and I'm going to Let's just open up Beatport here. All right, so just real quick, can you all see Beatport, by the way? Esteban, thumbs up.
I mean, I can see it
You
perfectly.
can?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so this is Beatport. Just a quick overview of how Beatport works. You got charts on Beatport. You can browse other DJs' charts. You can check out different genres, etc. But so let's, for example, click on Jamie Jones. I could check out Jamie Jones's tracks. But what I use Beatport mostly is for following artists, because I don't know any other site really that has like a chronological list of releases of my favorite artists and labels. So, if I like Jamie Jones, I can go here, I can follow him, I can go to see what tracks he's released and be like, oh, okay, what's, then I start looking at the labels. What's Circo Loco Records? By the way, this release is fire. You should all check it. I could go follow Circo Loco Records. So eventually you start following like all these artists and labels. I mean, you can see, I'm following, this will show me all the artists I'm following, I'm following 989 artists. My big thing is following labels. I'm always looking for labels. I'm following 411 labels, right? So the heart of everything I do starts at what's called My Beatport. And My Beatport, thankfully now, will give you this chronological feed of releases from all of your favorite artists and labels. And all of them come out Thursday night at midnight, technically Friday morning, midnight. And so I'm up like a kid on Christmas every Thursday night waiting. And I'm just, now I got this list, right? So we all know Beatport as a site formerly where you download music and you buy music from. But the landscape has completely changed in the past 2 weeks. Now we have this thing called Beatport Link. And Beatport Link will allow you to make playlists either in the Beatport website or the Link app, which I can get into a little bit later, and make playlists. And so let's say here, I like this song, right? This Simon Doty. Nice. Let's say I like this song. I could buy it, but there's now this new feature if you have a Link subscription where you can click this drop-down menu and you can add it to a playlist, right? So I can add this to a new playlist. I'll call this playlist DJLab, right? Save changes. So now I just added that to my Beatport Link playlist. And I can view all my playlists by clicking this weird 3-line icon thingy and then go to playlists. And these are like some playlists I've made in Link. And, I could, of course, edit them. Could change the order, whatever. So I can manage my playlists here. So once I've done that, now DJ software is starting to integrate streaming services into their software. So Traktor Pro, for example, has a public beta that has Beatport Link integrated into it. So all these playlists I can now play inside of Traktor. Or I can just browse through Beatport's stuff in Traktor. So Traktor supports it, Den and DJ. There's VR apps like Tribe XR. You can now DJ in VR and use your Link playlists. You no longer have to export your songs to Rekordbox and USB it through a Bluetooth, AirDrop, whatever. It's just there, right? So, I mean, the goal with Link is just go from discovery to just play music, right? And let's make discovering music fun again. So that's kind of Beatport in a nutshell. And of course, you can buy your music there. So that's pretty much all I use that for. But now going back to My Beatport, this chronological thing here, you all mentioned that you like Spotify, right? And in the past, shopping for music, I see so many DJs complaining about it. It's so tedious. It's so lonely. You have to sit at your desk for 8 hours straight, clicking. Your arms are like sore. Your ears feel like mashed potatoes by the end, right? And that was not fun, right? So it's we're moving into this new age of discovering music. So with that said, my Spotify friends, actually before I move on, I'm gonna just check the Q&A real quick and see if there's any questions going on. Okay. So is Beatport EDM exclusively? So Beatport has pretty much all styles of electronic dance music, house, techno, breaks, drum and bass, dubstep, chill out, electronic, all that kind of stuff. They do have some like hip hop, but if you're looking for other styles of music, there's Beatsource. So Beatsource is basically like Beatport for open format, hip hop, reggae, dancehall, like all the other styles of music. So if you're playing other styles of music, check out Beatsource, and they have Beatsource Link now, which does the exact same thing. I think it's even your same login, where you can check out the top 100 hip hop, and you could play it in Traktor. Like, boom! Like, you want to be a wedding DJ? Now you can. So Beatsource Link, that is also integrated into Traktor, and Denon DJ as well. So let's see. Spotify hasn't released it's a social network yet. I'm not sure what that means yet. Sorry, I'll train. But let's jump into Spotify. Esteban, did you want to say something?
I wanted to just touch base on the title of our masterclass. So if you can explain what crate digging is.
Good question. I like crate. So crate digging, it's almost like the art of DJing is crate digging. So crate digging comes from when DJs were playing vinyl, and we used to go to record stores and just dig through. It's called digging in the crates, or DITC for all the real DJs. So when you're searching for records, you're digging through crates of records, trying to find that one magic gem out of maybe a few hundred tracks that you're going through, right? And you used to have to go to a record store to go crate digging. But now crate digging, for better or for worse, is all pretty much digital, and we have to do it online. The amount of music is way more because it's not like filtered as much as it used to be. I mean, we used to have record buyers so when I say crate digging, I mean you're diving in head first into just tons of music, trying to find those gems that are for you, the songs that speak to you, what your message is to the world, what's your vibe. And when you're DJing, when we were playing vinyl, I used to show up at raves with my entire record collection, and I'd be digging the whole time, just trying to pull tracks out, right? So that's where the name crate digging came from. Hopefully
Awesome.
that answer works.
Sure.
Awesome. So, going back to what I was saying, finding music on sites like Beatport can be very tedious because you have to be home, you have to be in front of your computer, you have to be online, right? So I'm like, there's got to be a better way, right? So I am a big Spotify person, and I do everything in Spotify. So I'm going to just talk about my nerdy system of how I use Spotify to bring my crate digging wherever I go, in the car, in the bathtub, when I'm running down the street, right? I want to be able to have my music collection on my phone and do all my digging on my phone so I can have a life that's not in my studio. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So now this is Beatport. I'm just going to open Spotify here real quick. Now, what I have been doing, and a lot of people say that I'm crazy for doing this because it's too much work, is I actually copy and paste every release from My Beatport into Spotify every week. Literally just copy the song, go to Spotify, search for it, and then most songs I can just find it. There it is. You can see how, since I copied from the Beatport, I don't know if you noticed, but it left out a space, so I would have to do this. But once you click the song, once you click the song, you can actually just go here, select the whole EP, drag it into a Spotify playlist, done. So realistically, it only takes me about 45 minutes a week, and I have everything from Beatport and Spotify. But more on that second. So one problem with Beatport, or one thing that was a problem maybe a week and a half ago, was if you don't have a link subscription, you only get about 30 seconds of the song. You only get 30 seconds of the song. The preview's low quality and not good sounding. You can't really get a good vibe of the track. And also there's a bunch of like compilations that come out where they're like tracks that are re-released that are old. So what I've been using is a site called crates.co. And I believe this was actually even possibly made by someone who worked closely with Beatport or even worked with Beatport. So Crates basically feeds off the Beatport database. I mean, you could click buy on Crates and it'll show up in your Beatport cart. They work hand in hand. But there's a lot of enhancements with crates.co that make the Beatport experience better. For one, if I was to click this track here, I have this muted, but if I was to click this track, see where it says full-length YouTube search? I can now click that, and there is the track in full length on YouTube, and I can listen to this full track on YouTube, right? So that's pretty cool. And for my MIDI mapping nerds, hit the F. F is in full. And now I can listen to the full song right here. So that's one example of how this makes Beatport better. Now, the other thing is those pesky re-releases, those compilations, Natural Viva, whatever, I can hide those. You know what I'm talking about.
I
right?
hate it, man.
Yeah.
Because I know I wanna have like the original source. I don't want this re-release because it feels like it's new, but it's not new. So what I do is like I search for the song of the producer, and then I find out, no, this has been released 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which creates kind of a distortion of, when is this music being done or being released, which is important for me as a DJ. This has been released, I don't know, 10 years ago on 2005 or whatever. That gives me, certain cultural background information that I feel is important. But with this re-releases, it's just it gets the idea of, okay, it's new, but it's not.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, not to say that older music isn't good, but when I'm digging for music, I want to be looking at the new music and not old music, right? So simple checkbox right here, hide re-releases. I actually keep that unchecked just because it's not 100% correct. But if a track is a re-release, it's dim. So I can just kind of get a view here of what's a re-release. I mean, the several definitions, for example, that's probably an older track. And the other thing is I was using Crates for is because My Beatport on the Beatport website used to only have artists or labels. So I could only search the newest tracks from the labels or the artist in the Beatport Pro desktop app, which is now discontinued. Anyway, but so now Crates combines all of your followed artists and followed labels into one chronological timeline ordered by release date, which is important. And the other thing is it takes out this pesky thing. See how it says original mix in this track? If I was to try to search for this track on Spotify, I'm not going to find it. Watch. Even if I take out the space, right? It says you're going to think, oh, this song is not on Spotify, but it actually is. Take out original mix. Boom. There it is. I got the EP, drag it in, right? So it takes out the original mix. So it makes my copying and pasting life easier. So I'm just going to show you some examples of, how I copy and paste things, because I always hear from DJs, not everything's on Spotify, but actually it is. You just don't know how to find it. And there's some tricks. All right. Before I actually jump into this thing, I need to shout out a bug with crates. This has only been happening since the new Beatport site launched. Unfortunately, they're actually out of order. Like, there's a couple tracks from Anjuna Deep, but if I scroll a couple pages in, there's going to be the rest. They're fixing that. I've been messaging crates and Beatport separately every week saying, hey, can you please fix this? And they said it's coming soon. So, but here's how I do it. So let's say I want this mix, right? Select it, go to Spotify, search, pop it in. Let's do this from the crate site, right? All right, I'm going to get this new compact, which you all need to buy right away. So I search for it. There it is. I got the new compact, select all. I'm going to drag it into this new playlist. There's the whole EP, right? So they made that one easy, but let's find one that's maybe not so easy. Okay, here's a good example. This track right here. If I search for this in Spotify, I'm not going to find it. And you know why? Because you need to remove anything that says featuring artist, remove it. And there's the track. Like magic, right? I'm just going to mute this. Okay. So always remove featuring artist, always remove things like original mix if it's there. Right? So basically I'll just go through, usually every week there's about 7 pages of new releases. Like, hey, you want the new Monolink album? Here you go. And now I have this in Spotify, and I don't have to do it one song at a time. I just drag 20 songs in like 2 seconds. And the time that I would have spent listening to it, I now have this song in Spotify. I can listen to it in the car. I can listen to it on the beach, right? So the other thing to kind of be careful of is extended mixes. So sometimes I'm finding more and more labels are now putting extended mixes on Spotify, but this song, for example, it doesn't have the extended mix on Spotify. And this is one thing where Beatport actually shines, because Beatport usually has extended mixes, and those are meant for DJs to play since they have longer intros, longer outros, different arrangements for DJs. But Spotify is more consumer-based, so watch this. Just remove extended mix, and there it is. Right? Pow. So basically, I'll just take about 45 minutes, and I'll just go through you could see I did this. I was up till 6 a.m, you guys, crate digging last night. I played all of these, all right, and just copy it all into Spotify. So you might be thinking, okay, well, Spotify isn't integrated into any DJ app, so why is he doing it all on Spotify? I'm going to get into that later, how you can take your Spotify playlists and turn them into Tidal and turn them into SoundCloud playlists and things like that. So I'm just going to quickly just look and see if there's any questions here. Rob Tycho asks, are you using the Beatport mobile app? And I'm actually going to show that to you well, not the mobile app, but I have been using the Beatport mobile app. It's very cool. It just came out a few days ago. And you can actually use the Beatport mobile app to go through Beatport charts, curated playlists, genre playlists, things like that. But I'm not using it yet because I use my Beatport. My Beatport is very important to me. That's all I use Beatport for. So they don't have my Beatport. So I have to do this crazy Spotify thing. And also, Beatport link is not lossless yet. It's 256 kilobytes AAC, which is the equivalent of a 320 kilobytes MP3. And I'm all lossless with my DJ stuff. But that said, I did want to show you. So there is actually a web-based browser, and this is pretty cool for anyone who just wants to kind of explore. Like explore some music and play with it, I mean, I could go to this DJLab playlist I just made, load up a track, play it, sync it, and one thing I actually found is this auto mix feature is awesome. You could just go to one of your playlists, put it on auto mix, and it actually like phrase mixes and beat matches and loads tracks for you. And I let it play last night for like 3 hours straight, and I didn't even notice that it was like a DJ was playing for me. So, but yeah, I mean, you can go to genres, you can view your favorite genres, you can dig through all the top tracks, curated playlists in those genres. You know, you can make playlists in this web-based browser. These are all tracks that I've bought. So if you bought music, then you have access to all of that here. And they do also have a mobile app. I won't get into it, the mobile app, because if I plug in my phone, I'll get 100 messages from DJs popping up on the screen. But, you know, but it's the same idea. It's a good music discovery. So if you're just getting into DJing, check out Beatport Link. You have access to the entire Beatport catalog at your fingertips, and you can play it.
Mike, there's a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Take a look at them.
Okay. All right, let's go. Okay, other questions. I wish there was a way to export Spotify data into a database. Well, that's what I'm going to actually get into shortly. And I use a website called Soundiiz. Like, I'll show you the link later. Maybe I can even put it in the chat here. Let's do it. Where are you? Or yeah, here we go. Okay, so the link is in the chat, and I'm gonna get more into depth on this. But Soundiiz allows you to take your whole Spotify collection and literally migrate it to Tidal, or migrate your playlist to SoundCloud, or take your iTunes playlist locally and migrate them to Beatport Link. Right. So we're gonna get into all that. So never depend on one platform. Who knows? They could cancel Spotify tomorrow. What are you gonna do? Right? Have a backup. So going back to the Q&A, when you purchase songs on Beatport, Andre Corrales, good to see you, man. When you purchase songs on Beatport, do you focus on the music you like or the music that is popular at the moment? Good question. When I'm shopping for music on Beatport and buying music, I never look at what's popular. I never look at charts. I never look at genres. I try to have an unbiased opinion based on popularity. I just want to dig through as much as I can, see what resonates, and you know, there's a 3-step process which I'll get into where I'm filtering, you know, what I like, because I might think something's great after hearing a melody after 8 hours, but the next day I listen to it, I'm like, you know. So, but. Yeah, I buy what I love. I don't care about what's popular or what other people like. Would you recommend websites that do the playlist export between platforms like Tune My Music? Hello, Humberto. So yeah, good question. There are a couple sites that do exactly what Soundiiz does. So there's soundiiz.com and there's tunemymusic.something. You put it in the chat. They both do the same thing. You can move playlists between Spotify and Tidal, SoundCloud, YouTube, Beatport Link, and Tune My Music and Soundiiz both do the same. I've had much better results with Soundiiz, to be honest. The results are more accurate. Sometimes it might get it wrong. Like there might be a random result, maybe 1 out of 30 or 1 out of 40 tracks or something that it gets wrong. So, but Soundiiz has gotten a lot better, and it seems like they're a bit tighter with Beatport too. So that's getting better and better. Okay. So cool. Thank you all for the questions. Keep them coming. All right. So I'm going to go back here. So yeah, so again, so I'm going to spend 45 minutes going through all this stuff. I'm not going to make you sit through all this, right? So in the end, I end up, and you guys, this was just from this week, 1,000 tracks I got last night from artists and labels I follow that were released. Actually, this is 2 weeks worth of stuff, but still. So I end up with, maybe per week, I would say about 600 tracks in this playlist. And while I'm going through the playlist, I kind of put them in sub playlists. Like if I see something I might want to play in the car, I put them in my car jams playlist. Like this new Richie Houghton, this new Compact, new Scream, right? So this is my car jams playlist that I play in my car with my girlfriend, and also something you might not all know, I work with iZotope. So anytime I see, I work with about 500 artists through iZotope. So anytime any of them release a track, I put it into this playlist. By the way, there have been 823 songs made by iZotope artists during the pandemic. And this is the epic playlist. All right, so it starts there. Then my Shazams. I don't know if you all knew this, but you can sync your Shazam with Spotify. So anytime you Shazam a song, it's going to end up in this Spotify playlist called My Shazam Tracks automatically. So I'll take my new Shazam tracks, I'll drag it into that playlist every week. Inflyte, that's something I'll get into later. It's a promo service. I take all my Inflyte releases, drag it into that playlist. So I'm just making this crazy epic playlist. Spotify has this release radar. So anytime an artist I like releases a new track, I go through all this, go to that album, drag it in, right? So you just click the album, this new Maceoplex, drag it in, right? So I'm doing that. So that's kind of the first step. And then I start going into the charts. And since you're all here, you're going to know my secret weapons. I can't get around it. But there are some charts that I love to follow. Namely, this Sasha playlist. He updates it every week with these incredible tunes. So I just kind of go through and, any new tracks that are in this chart, just drag it in, right? Dixon, right? I'll go through, drag it in. So I'm doing that. But so with that said, sure, these are all great charts, right? But do I want to go through all of them? No, I only want to go through what was released this week. So this is my trick with that. So I just have this playlist called Charts Favorite. So what I do is I just dump it all. Dump it all into this playlist, right? And I'm just taking all my favorite tracks from all my favorite DJs, dragging it in, right? And you're going to see what I do here in a second. I take all of Pete Tong's essential tracks from the week, drag it in. Cool. So now I got this charts favorite with about 700 songs. Here is a secret weapon all you Spotify people need to know. It is a website made by some genius, and it's called Sort Your Music. This is the link right here. Let's maybe we could put it in the chat. Oh, I can't do it while I'm here. Let's just do it. There we go. All right. So this is Sort Your Music, right? And so in Spotify, I have no way to sort by the newest tracks. Like you can sort by date added, but you can't sort by release date. Release date is something that is crucial for me that no DJ platforms really show much love to. So I have to use this. It's called Sort Your Music. And simple to use. These are all my Spotify playlists. I'm just going to go to that playlist I just made called Charts Favorite. And here's the songs. I always sort by the number because see how it's loading? So I just sort by number, wait till it's done. Okay, it's done loading. Now I can just sort by release date. You can see now all the newest stuff in this playlist is at the top. I hit save as new playlist. And in seconds, look at this. There is that playlist you just saw me made, but it's in chronological order. All right, here's all the new stuff at the top. I just go here and I just say, okay, I only want the tracks from June. Let's just go down to this, Zenobi track. Here it is. And select them. And we got about, out of all those charts, we got about 32 tracks here that are all new, released this week. Boom. That's all I care about. Drag them in. All right. So now we're starting to build this playlist. We got this 83 songs. All this stuff's released this week, right? So then I make the decision of, do I want to dig deeper? Actually, I'm going to stop for a second and just look at the questions. Can I type Soundiiz? Yes, let's do that. Let's go to the chat. I think I put it in the chat actually already, but I'll do it again. Sound. I can't copy and paste on this thing. You can probably see it on my screen. Soundiiz.com. Okay, you're way ahead of me. Cool. So now I got that. So now the next step is, let's go deeper, right? Like sometimes I might not want to listen to 1,000 tracks this week. Sometimes I do. So the next step is I go down in my hierarchy, right? And so these are some secondary playlists. Maybe I'll just drag all the Carl Cox, the Camel Fat, right? I was basically doing the same thing. I have my friend Zach Jaffe, who works for Beatport, who's got some crazy playlists, and I drag all that stuff in. But check this one out. For those of you who don't know, another genius I discovered, I think his Spotify name is Voidet. He made these scripts for Spotify that are scraping Beatport top 100 charts for, all these genres. So I could actually go to the Beatport top 100, and this is an automated Spotify playlist. Drag it in. I could literally just take 2 seconds or maybe 15 seconds and drag all of the top 100 charts from all the labels I follow, or all the genres I play, right? Drag it into this charts playlist here, and just in a few seconds, I literally have all the Beatport top 100 charts from every genre I follow. Because yes, it is important to know what resonates with people. But you know what I don't care about that much is old music. So there we go. 725 songs. These are all in charts. Let's go back to sort my music. I have to refresh, log in, search for charts. There's the playlist. Sort by number. Wait for it to finish. If you don't wait for it to finish, you're not going to get the whole playlist. So this is why I do this. Sort by release date. Save as new playlist. And look at this. Out of the top 100 charts, I only care about the stuff that was released this week. So let's go down to the Skrillex. Look, I just made a new Spotify playlist. Only new music. I could scroll down to wherever that Skrillex track is, for example, and drag it in. And there's 110 new tracks that were just released this week that are charted. So, long story short, I'm making this crazy epic playlist of tracks from all these charts, all these artists, all these, all my artists, my labels I follow. I could even go to SoundCloud if I want. I used to when I had more time in my hands, and drag the SoundCloud stuff in, right? So Daniel asked a question. How do you add scripts for the charts to your Spotify? So that I don't know, but how do you find these playlists is what I'm looking at. Look for this guy Voidet, or just do a Spotify playlist for, just do a search, Beatport top 100 organic house. Go to your playlist, and it's the top result for me. I mean, I can go to Beatport top 100. Maybe he even has a drum and bass. So this guy made these playlists. I didn't make them. I'm not that smart. But look, Voidet, thank you, whoever you are. Here's Beatport's top 100 drum and bass. And I could have that on my phone and go through it in my car, not in my studio. So just search for it. So now I have this playlist. And by the way, when I get off of this call, I'm going to go through this playlist on my phone. These 1,000 tracks, and it sounds like a lot. I could get through this in an hour and a half. So there's a 3-step process to how I get through this and stay sane. The first process is I have, let's call it round 1, round 2, round 3. Round 1 is I listen for every song for maybe no more than 2 or 3 seconds. And I test them on, I'm going to get out of my chair. Can you see this? This is a sub pack. Maybe you can't. Sub pack. Show the logo. All right. So the sub pack is my secret DJ weapon, you all. And what it is it allows me to plug my music source. It's like almost like a subwoofer that's on your chair, that you plug your music source in, whether it be your iPhone or your Mac or your computer, into this box. You know, you might be able to see it on my chair. You plug it in here, plug your headphones in, and it allows you to feel the bass of the music through your entire body. And this is the game changer. If I didn't have this, I don't know what I would do. So this allows me to feel instantly how a track will translate on a sound system. You know, you might hear a song and you're like, that song's awesome. And you play it in the club and you're like, that has no cojones, right? But the sub pack, you can feel instantly how a song is mixed, mastered, and it's awesome. It feels like you're in a club. So what I'll do is I'll just test all these 1,000 tracks out and see which ones bang, you know, and just kind of like my thought process as I'm going through it is like, first I'm saying, okay, maybe I recognize a name. So as I'm going through it, I have this thing called check on sub pack. We'll call this the round 2 playlist, right? So as I'm going through, and by the way, I'm doing this on my phone, not on my computer. So I'm literally sitting in my chair on my phone, just going boom, 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 next. As soon as I find a song I like, add it to the check on sub pack playlist. Okay, so there was a question. Oh, I lost it.
I actually answer those questions. So
thank you.
The link for Subpack, guys, is on the chat. It's not a new tool, but I guess it's not that well known, right?
I can't believe that it's not well known, but yes. Yeah, it's so it's been around for a long time. And I would say if you're a DJ and producer, you need to have it. It's like must have for me. I'm not trying to like sell it. I'm not paid by Subpack, but you know, but there's going to be a new model coming out. And apparently it's both wearable. You could wear it like a backpack or in your chair. So keep a lookout for that.
It's very important that you touch base on that particular thing, because whatever is our way to listen to all the music that we are planning to download, planning to buy, is very important. The headphones that we use, or the place where we are, or some people might try to test music or consider just listening to on a phone maybe, or on a laptop, and the sound is not, you're not able to understand how the track will translate into the dance floor. So maybe you don't have the sub pack, but you need to, I guess you need to concentrate in a different way. It's like the listening approach is it has to be more detailed, more, I guess, more professional.
Exactly. And yeah, you bring up a couple points. And the first thing is you have to listen very carefully. If you have a good pair of headphones, maybe you can hear some sub bass, right, in your headphones. But a lot of frequencies below 30 hertz, you can't hear, you can only feel. And the sub pack allows you to feel those frequencies that you can't hear. And also, you know, this is a whole nother rabbit hole, but, you know, this is why I play lossless. If you listen to an MP3 on a sub pack and a wave, or AIF on a sub pack, you're going to be like, wow, the difference is just what you feel. And that's translated on a sound system. And the other thing is the phone aspect. So that's the big reason I do a lot of this, so I can have all this music on my phone, right? So I have the Spotify app on my phone. Spotify allows you to have offline playlists. So when you're cruising through the desert in Joshua Tree, you can actually be listening to your offline Beatport playlists or Car Jams playlist. And you can download them and go through, or if you're on the plane, I could go through this playlist on the plane. So I'm doing it all on my phone. Okay, so I made this epic Beatport playlist. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to sit down on my phone and I'm just going to go through this 1,000 playlists. Just bang it out. It takes me an hour and a half. I can get through it, right? And add whatever something I might like. I just throw it in this check and sub pack playlist. Don't listen to it more than a few seconds, right? And then the second round is I go through this check on sub pack playlist. These are all like the maybes, right? And I go through these and I maybe listen to them a little more. And I say, which of these songs do I want to buy? And, let's say I like this compact track. I'm going to throw it in the buy me playlist, right? Which tracks do I want to buy? And which tracks do I want to just have in my Spotify collection? So the stuff I want to have in my Spotify collection, I throw in the add to playlists. So there's a difference between music that you just want to enjoy and listen to and music that you want to buy as a DJ. When I'm buying stuff, I'm buying it for the club. But, there might be some awesome down tempo and electronica that I just want to save. And, with this, I can just click the like button, add it to, down here I have all my genre playlist. I could add this to my, house, techno, down tempo, whatever. So I know that was a lot. Let me answer a couple questions here. Let's go to, all right. How's everyone feeling by the way, right now? Let me know. Throw some ease in the chat if you're digging the masterclass. So question from Andre. I know this is more like a personal opinion. I see that you have playlists with more than 500 songs, more knowing that how to filter this ones on your collection. How do you choose the song that you will use on a mix? Sorry, I'm just digesting. So how do you choose the songs that you use on a mix? Do you already have a playlist for every mix that you will make, or do you prefer to go with the flow? Okay, so, the first thing is I haven't even bought any music yet, right? I haven't even bought any music, so we're not at the mix yet. But, so there's a lot of factors that go into what goes in a mix. What's the vibe? What am I doing the mix for? Is it, a demo? Is it a podcast? Is this some experimental mix in all F minor? Is this, so it's hard to almost, that's a huge question, but I'll get into some things. And how many times a week can you go through the complete process? Once a week. So usually Friday, Thursday night, I stay up all night till 5, 6 in the morning, or that's Thursday night, and do the Beatport round 1. Next day, I do the check on sub pack round 2, when my ears are fresh. The next day, round 3, I go through the buy me check. So there's this filtering thing, right? So because when you listen to 1,000 tracks, any sign of a melody or a vocal, you're like, wow, that's the best track ever. But then the next day you're like, ugh, right? So you got to kind of filter. And big ups to my E-Force in the chat. Yeah. Got Dana, Dom Young, Jose, what's up? Eve Chavez, Cassidy, awesome. Got my Berkeley Online students in the house. Habib, thank you guys. Okay, so we're starting to get some questions about mixed and key, preparing playlists. So we're about to go into that. But before I do, I'm going to start talking about the two styles of DJs we're almost about to see. We got your download people, the people who buy their music and, maybe play lossless music, your touring DJs, your pro DJs. And then you have your streaming DJs. So I'm going to talk about first the streaming DJs. All right. So we got these Spotify playlists. I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to, so, let's take a playlist, for example, car jams, right? So I'm going to go, there's a website I use, and this is a secret weapon that you all now know about. It's called Soundiiz. And there's also Tune My Music, which does the same thing. So Soundiiz is a site that allows me to convert my playlists from one streaming service to another. And you can see over here, you have all these streaming services. You have Spotify, Tidal, SoundCloud, Beatport, Beatsource, Apple Music, etc. Right? So what I can do with Soundiiz is I could just take a playlist, just click transfer. First, you have to connect your stuff. You have to connect your networks, hit transfer, choose a playlist. Let's say Spotify. Let's do check on Subpack. Let's take that playlist and convert that to Tidal. Confirm. I just hit next, everything's selected. So I'm going to select which network I can send it to. I can send it to Tidal, SoundCloud, or Beatport. And just a quick quick comparison. Tidal is lossless. Tidal is what I use in my DJ sets because it is lossless audio quality. It's a subscription-based service where there's different tiers. I think it's the highest quality. So you get the same quality as an AIFF or a wave. And for some songs, you even get the stereo masters of the tracks, which is insane. So let's choose Tidal. And right now it's just going through. It's transferring that playlist into Tidal. And you can see it's got all the tracks except for one track. So pretty good job, right? And now if I open Tidal, look at this. We have inside of Tidal, there is, where was it? Oh, check on Subpack. There's that playlist. It just converted it for me, right? And why do I send it to Tidal? Because of these guys you see behind me, the Denon SC6000s. They have Tidal built in, Beatport Link, Dropbox, Beatsource. So now in just a matter of seconds, I have all of my songs from that Spotify playlist available to play in the decks. Do you know what that means, you guys? That means I can play any set I want. I could play a down-tempo set, a drum and bass set. All I have to do is just convert my Spotify playlist, fire up the Denons, and boom. Right? Same thing. If I want to transfer let's do the same playlist, send it to Beatport Link. So easy to do. Beatport. Right? And now this is sending it to my Beatport Link account. And if I use Beatport Link, I could play these songs in VR or whatever. Okay, so we've got some questions. Daniel, can you walk us through the playlist that you have in your Spotify profile? Looks like you live in... Yes, I do. I live in Spotify. Let's take a quick tour. So these are my digging playlist. I have the 3 tiers of digging. You can see the playlist I use. Then I got my buy me stuff. These are my curated playlists. Let's see. I could probably, since I love you guys, I'm just going to put a link to my personal Spotify playlists in the chat. Let's see if I got it here. I thought I had a link to it. Oh, maybe this is it. Yes. Okay. So now you have access to my entire life. So for free. So thanks for coming to this free seminar. Dig, you guys.
Man, amazing. This not only you're sharing, you're sharing your musical heart, but also mind, in a way of the way you approach all these integrations, so that it gets you to wherever you want to where you want to be, which is testing these songs, testing them on your DJ booth as if you were on the dance floor. You can even use them live on a gig, but before you buy them, you are able to get the idea of, all right, should I buy this song, which is the end of it, right?
Exactly. And a lot of people put stuff in their Beatport hold bin and it just ends up becoming thousands of songs in your hold bin that you'll never listen to again. Whereas this gives you the way to digest it. And that's the important part, is digesting all the music first and then buying it. But yeah, so here's my public playlist. If you go to my Spotify, I mean, I have breaks, this is my Beatport. I mean, you could even see this crazy playlist I made last night if you want. I don't care. A lot of DJs are secretive about sharing their music. I don't care, because you can give the same song to, 100 DJs and it's not going to sound the same. So enjoy. Old people music, I could play old people music, right? So yeah, these are my playlists here. And I could take these, convert them to title, play them. And I don't know, some of my fans here, you might have remembered I did a residency on the Beatport Twitch for a little while, and I was playing 3 hours of new music that was released that week, every week. People were like, how the hell are you doing it? This is how, this is how it went from this song was released to I'm playing it on the decks, and that's how I get there. Okay, so now I did this Beatport conversion here. If I go to my Beatport now, go to my playlists, there it is, check on Subpack. That's the playlist we converted. And now I don't have to, get carpal tunnel syndrome from clicking all day. It just did all that work for me. And I have a playlist. So that Soundiiz. Oh, we got a bunch of questions here. Okay. So mix and key I will get into. How many hours do you spend the whole process? Way too many. Maybe 30 hours a week. I spend, I don't know, 20. It depends, right? It's a lot of time, but I just love the music, so that's why I do it. Is there any way to download music from Tidal? No, there is. If you're using Tidal or Beatport Link in DJ applications, they won't let you record. But anyone who kind of is handy with audio knows a way to record audio from applications. But you all do what you got to do. A question from Humberto. During the whole process of digging, do you take into consideration recommendations by friends, colleagues, or friends? Yes. If people send me MP3s, I'll actually convert those. I'll get those MP3s into Spotify. I do not play MP3s. But my friends have playlists. I could go. I mean, hey, my friend Beto Barocco, I could go to his public playlist. I could take all of these songs from his public playlist, drag it into Beatport, right? I could dig through my friend's playlist, because Spotify is a social network as well. This is Macioplex Manager. I could go through his playlist, right? So, yes, it's just, the question is, how deep do you want to go and how much time do you have? But yes, I love going through music.
There's a question on the chat that from Joseph. He says, do you ever use 1001 track lists to discover new music?
Yes, good call out, my man. And yes, I do, absolutely. 1001 track lists, great website to find track listings from your favorite DJs. Let's search for a Sasha playlist. And also, this website has been awesome because everyone's been live streaming. So everyone's been posting track listings from these DJs. So I always like to spend some time. I could go through here. Look at this. Here's Sasha's most recent La Zascura. Pop that baby into Spotify. There you go. Right? So yeah, you could just go through and just copy this whole track listing in there, and that is a part of the process that I forgot to cover. So thanks for bringing that up. Trying to catch up on all the questions. Someone said I don't see the link. What link?
Oh, I actually reposted
Oh,
your Spotify because I think you posted it on only for panelists to see it.
oh,
But
sorry.
it's there. It's there. Don't worry.
Let me switch this. Okay. All right. Thanks. Um, and yeah, Hall and Oates. Big up to all my Hall and Oates fans out there. Love that old music. All right. And can Soundiiz also work with Bandcamp? Interesting enough, I just saw. Where is it? I just saw this. I think they just added it recently. Maybe even last night. I don't even know. Like, I just saw Bandcamp right here. I've never used it to do this, but yes. So this is why I love having you all here, is because this landscape is changing in real time. Next week, it's going to be something totally different. Okay?
So Soundiiz is free.
Soundiiz is free. The only limitation is you can only do 200 tracks at a time. So what I've been doing is just, if I have a big playlist, I just break it up, like 1,000 tracks. I'll just break it up into 5 playlists, convert it, then combine it. You know.
Well, it sounds like a very powerful tool that might, evolve, and maybe what all services are doing right now is going to subscriptions for people pro and no not so pro. But either way, it's an amazing tool.
It is. And I mean, so the Denons, I've been using these for the past year, and they have all these streaming services included. And I always think of weird ideas when I get new equipment. And when I got these and I found out that I could play any music through Tidal, and then this is when I found out about Soundiiz, and I was like, so what you're trying to say is I could take a 60s and 70s music playlist, convert it with Soundiiz to Tidal, and I could play a 60s and 70s set. And I did. It was a 50s and 60s set. And that's on my SoundCloud if you guys want to check it out. I did a set in lossless audio of a 50s and 60s music, and then I used the Sort My Music to put all that music in chronological order, so the set goes up by the year. So I was like 1958, 1959, and 1960, and I played all the best songs from that year. So you can see how all of these kind of ideas came into fruition of a finished mix.
I think it's a very powerful tool also for schools, and of course wedding DJs that have to cover just a huge amount of music for their work. Every time there's a specific request, he or she has to have it ready. So this is a way to get there. And also, I don't know, maybe radio stations, maybe online radio stations as well. This masterclass is for you guys.
Exactly, and thank you for bringing that up as well. I know a lot of radio DJs now that are doing this exact process to play their shows every week. Because if you're going to buy 3 hours of new music every week, you're going to go broke fast, right? So this allows you to do that, even for the pro DJs. And then for new DJs, I mean, you and I both teach classes, Esteban. And one big issue for new DJs is, how am I going to afford to buy all this music? Now you can literally just get in and play any genre of music you want. You have access to every song you could ever want and imaginable, and play sets. So this is an amazing tool. Link or Tidal, is an amazing tool for new DJs to just get in and play, right? So I definitely encourage you all to check it out. So with that said, I think we kind of are getting out of the streaming world and trying to get into let's buy some music. Let's find some unreleased music. Let's, prepare it, right? Are there any questions right now before I jump in about the streaming stuff?
No, there's no questions for now.
Okay. All right, cool. So we have the Buy Me playlist that we've been making, right? Let's go buy it on Beatport. Let's buy some music, and let's start preparing it. So, all right. So of course once I do all this, I actually just buy all my music on Beatport, right? And so I downloaded a bunch of music. Let's just say here. So I'm going to go to my new promos folder here. Right. So I just bought all this music, let's say, right. And I got all these folders, all these songs. I mean, this is even almost like a good part to show. These are all promos, that I downloaded. I'm just going to unzip them all. Actually, Esteban, maybe I should talk about Inflyte before I even talk about tagging.
I think so. Yeah, Inflyte. I mean, I guess it's on. At least I got to know it because I was invited to be part of a promo pool. But if that wasn't the case, I guess I wouldn't have known it. So
correct. Okay, cool. All right, give me 1 second here. I'm actually just going to log in to my Inflyte. All right, 1 sec. All right, so Inflyte. Inflyte is a promo server. And actually, let me back up a little bit. What is a promo? A promo is like unreleased music that usually the labels send out for DJs to get unreleased music to play on their radio shows or in the club before it's released, right? And in the past, it was a giant mess. DJs' inboxes are just full of Dropbox links and you send it and we transfers and all this stuff. So there's a couple main promo services. There's Inflyte and there's Fat Drop. So I'm going to show you what Inflyte looks like. And actually I have to unshare my screen. I'm going to give you a quick insight into my inbox, right? Okay, let's go back here. So I have just recently set up a new email account for promos, specifically for unreleased music. So what happens is I get these email links, right, with this unreleased music, and this is through Inflyte. And so this is Waze and Odyssey's label. They sent me this unreleased track. I can click on it, and this is how the promo services work. And, of course, you kind of have to either have a radio show or be playing gigs to receive promos in the first place. But so how this works is, I can read the track, I can play it. Right. So I listen to the track, and what I need to do to download this track is I need to give them feedback. And this feedback is used by the labels, the PR companies, the artist for promoting their new track. So they can say this track was supported by Endo, Carl Cox, Solomon, whatever. Let's just kind of check this out. Hold on, see if it's any good. Oh yeah. So yeah, I kind of like this track, right? So I'll leave a feedback here with some bubbly bass lines. Since can't wait to rock this in the club, right? Sorry for the cheesy feedback, but then you have to select a favorite track, rate it, right? Grammarly it, because I have horrible spelling sometimes. Thank you. And there you go. And then from there, you can download the AIFF, the MP3, or the zip file. So boom, I download it, right? So it's downloading this as a promo. So that's kind of how that works. And then if I go to my dashboard here, Brian Cox, real quick, I'm going to answer your question. What is the available of Underground House on Tidal? You can pretty much get everything that you can get on Beatport on Tidal. Sometimes it's not the extended mix, but you can usually get the original mix, and then you just buy the extended mix. But they pretty much have everything. And don't let other DJs tell you that they don't, because they do. Now you all know the trick. And who can tell me what those tricks are? how do you find the songs? All right, while I'm letting you answer that, so here's my dashboard. I can just kind of go, these are promos that I've been sent. I can go to it. Right, I can rate and download. But the thing I like is, what if I don't like it? I just click the delete button. It's not for me, right? Not everything's for you, right? So, cool. So that's the downloading. Let's go to Q&A. What would be the monthly budget, Eric, if you decide to go with the streaming platforms instead of buying your own music? So there's different tiers. I would check the different tiers of pricing on Tidal, Beatport, Link. It depends on audio quality, and sometimes some of them are ranging from, who knows, $15 to $40 a month. All right, so now we've downloaded all these promos, right? And I go to my promos. This is my downloads folder. It's a huge mess, so I'm just gonna drag all this into a folder. I got all this stuff from all these various places. Just combine it. All right, and I think that's good. And I'm just glad you guys get to see this. Okay, so now all of my stuff is in this one folder here. And again, I am super obsessive about my metadata, keeping everything neat, organized. And a lot of these artists, these promos are not labeled correctly. They don't have album artwork. They don't have genre. The titles are all sometimes misspelled, right? So I need everything looking neat, everything clean, so I can rock the house, right? So here is all this music I got. And see how I got these two folders here that say AIF and Wave? First thing is, I don't play waves. I also don't like waves like I don't like MP3s, because waves do not have metadata, right? So I need to convert everything to AIF so I can get the metadata of these songs. Hope I have you all here. If you guys feeling this stuff, are you liking geeking out? Let me know. Here, I want to put the chat. There we go.
Actually, the same. I want all my songs to have the information where it should be. I guess I use Traktor a lot, and Traktor, you can search by each tag throughout the software very quickly. But if the spelling is not right, or if the name of the artist is in the title section, then it's a mess. I won't find it, and I will get stressed while I'm playing.
Exactly. Thank you. Amen. And thank you all for in the chat that you guys are loving this. I'm glad. So I'm glad I get to share this with you. So these are the things we have to do as DJs, right? And the thing I need is release date. Release date is so important to me. I don't want to sort by date added. I want to sort by release date. So anyway, so I'm in my promos. Let's find all those pesky wave files. Let's search. There they are. Okay, so only got two because I already converted them. Anyways, these Georgia and Julie tracks. I'm going to drag these into my wave folder, right? And I need to convert these to AIFF. I can do that really quickly using iZotope RX. I mean, you only see two here, but normally I have like 30 or 40 waves. I'm not going to get into deep what RX is, but they have this thing called the batch processor. So I go Window, Batch Processor. I can just drag these wave files in. Bada bing, bada boom. Choose the location where I save them to. And I'm going to choose to convert them all to AIFF. Hit process. And done. Now I got the AIFs. Oops. Here it is. And there's those Georgia tracks. Thank you, RX. You can do like 300 tracks in 3 seconds in RX, convert them, by the way. Yeah, it's that fast. And it's the best converter too. Don't convert your music in iTunes or some third-party weird converter. RX is the biz as far as converting your tracks. So here we go. Let's delete delete all those waves, right? Sorry, let's delete.
Mike, while we're here, one thing that one question that I get all the time when teaching is how do I organize my music inside my hard drive? You have like a general approach to that you can share with us today?
Yep, definitely. I'm just giving Daniel this link here where they can get RX, and you can download a free 30-day trial of that, by the way. Okay, so the question was managing your music on external hard drives.
Or not external, but inside your computer. I mean, the file.
Oh,
How are they organized in your computer? The files, not in the DJ software, but in the folders and the files that you're downloading.
good question. Well, iTunes, or now called Music, iTunes is where I do manage all my music files, but where do they live on my hard drive? I keep them all in Dropbox. So most of my computer is in Dropbox because if my computer ever dies, I have a backup. So this is my system. You don't have to do this, but this is, I have folders by year, month, and, so that's how I do it. And so everything's just in folders by year and month. And then from there, if I go to iTunes, I have, I have this option turned off. Where is it? It's under, this option, copy files to music media folder. I have this turned off. If you have this on, it's going to actually copy the song into a different folder if you drag it into iTunes. So I turn this off. So basically all this is just it's just a reference to this file, which lives, as you can see, in my Dropbox. And I also keep everything on my current or on my local hard drive and not external hard drive, because when I play, what if the external drive, I use Traktor sometimes, if the external drive gets pulled out, you're screwed. Whereas if it's local on your computer, you have less risk.
Right. Mike, do you have any advice for people that play kind of an open format set so that there's, I guess that you're downloading music that all kind of blends together in general, but some people might have all very different sets, right? So do you have students at Berkeley that has this question? So maybe some of them play hip hop, but also play whatever reggaeton or play house. And what's first, the genre or the release date?
What do you mean? Like what comes first, genre or release date?
In terms of organizing, how would you do it if you have very different music styles, and you want to keep all very organized?
Good point. Yeah, I guess when you're playing other styles of music, you might not always be looking for the new stuff, right? You might be looking. Beatsource. I don't know if any of you have tried the the beta of Traktor, but when I play other genres, I go into the my Beatsource category, and here I'm just opening the beta. I think I'm allowed to show this. So there's Beatsource link, right? And I can just go here and let's go to the genres. Look, you have hip hop, right? Or let's go to the top 100 actually. I could go here, go to the top 100 reggae. I guess release date really doesn't matter if I'm playing reggae, right? So, I can I load these songs, play them, right? But as far as the technique goes, this is probably the hardest and the most common question I get asked as a DJ instructor, is how to play multi-genres. And it's almost like no right answer. You almost got to get creative when going between genres, like either using ambient intros or doing drop cuts where you're going ticka 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 boom, right? Or finding songs in similar BPMs is kind of a broad question and maybe a broad answer. But yeah, with Beatsource, you can dig through. You can actually sort by release date if you want. So I could sort by the newest hip hop, and I could play in key, whatever I want to do. So yeah, that's just what came to mind with that question. Again, bear with me. I was up till 6 a.m, so I'm trying here to answer these to the best of my ability. Cool. So L-Train, maybe a tagging system for genre. You could have multiple tags. Oh yeah, definitely. And I do, by the way, have a tagging system. Thank you for bringing this up, L-Train. There's so many different ways. I mean, you could use speed, BPM, but also in Traktor, I'm in like an obsessive tagger. I'm color coding my tracks. I'm rating them. I'll get into all that in a second while this is opening. But yeah, I mean, you can see I have a color coding system in Traktor. I can color my tracks. Orange is groovy, blue is techie, green is trippy, yellow is DJ tools, right? So you can have that. I use ratings for release date. Sorry, not release date. I use ratings for energy level. So that's just other things, but we haven't got there yet. You guys are you're living in the future. Let's get back to, we just bought all these music. We just downloaded all these unreleased promos. We converted them to AIFF. Let's tag them, right? So first thing I'm going to do is use what's called the Beatport Tagger. And how are we on time, Esteban? I'm cool going as long as you guys want, but
yeah,
I want to be respectful.
Don't worry. I was thinking 90 minutes, 2 hours. It's fine. I think the point is to actually get to cover the whole process. Or whatever.
Cool.
Don't worry.
Great. I'm cool. You know me. I like the extended set. So.
Me too, man.
All right. So there used to be this great program called Beatport Pro, and I used to use it to get my metadata from Beatport. Like, I would have all these new promos. I'd select them. I'd say sync with Beatport, and I could go here. It doesn't even work anymore. So I used to get the metadata, album artwork, genre, all that. It doesn't work. Big sad face, So I was like, what do I do? And I dig through forums, YouTube, everywhere. And I found this program. It's called Beatport Tagger, which I'm going to open now. Thank you, Daniel, for coming. And so this is Beatport Tagger, and it was some sketchy third-party download I got. And hey, let's put a link to that in the chat. 1 sec, I'm going to find the link. Beatport Tagger. Where are you? Oh, I thought I had it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Boom. So I just saved you all the time it's spent figuring out how to even download and install this app. So follow those links. You got the Mac PC link and the video tutorial. So
Dana says that it's been changed to one tagger. Is that correct? Do you think so?
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's changing in real time. Like, and thanks. Check it out. Thank you, Dana. Dana's my all-star student, by the way. She's always giving me amazing music. So thank you for coming. All right. So this is how this works. And this is actually better than Beatport Pro, right? So sometimes everything happens for a reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the folder with all my promos, right? There it is. And I'm going to check what I want to fetch. So this is going to fetch the metadata and fill in the missing information that we're missing, right? So I'm going to get artist, title, album, label. I don't want BPM. I don't want key because that could possibly overwrite the BPM or key in your DJ software. Do not check that. Release date, big. URLs, right? And you have to check overwrite tags and replace album artwork. So this is going to get all the album artwork. This is huge for me too. I'm a visual person. I don't like reading. I like seeing pictures. And then I hit, another pro tip. This thing right here, this is the artist separator. So let's say it's like Solomon / Macioplex this. It's going to put this between the artist. I don't know why they have a semicolon. I use a comma. So comma, space, and hit start. So now what it's doing is it's scraping Beatport for all the metadata for every song in this folder. Pretty sweet, right? And it's pretty fast. I mean, I used to have to do this one track at a time. So thanks to whoever the geniuses that made Beatport Tagger, or one tagger, as Dana says.
Yeah, I remember when they removed Beatport Pro, and I started kind of downloading the songs again from the browser, from the website, and then the tags weren't there, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I was like, I'm definitely doing something wrong because these guys cannot do this.
Yeah.
21.
They took my lollipop away. I mean, I cry. I literally cry. It's like, what am I going to do? I got all this music. I got a tag, right? So here we are. I mean, some of them, some of this stuff is unreleased, humble brag, but, there we go. So Beatport Tagger, it just got all the information, right? Next step is mixed in key, which is right here. So mixed in key 10 just came out. It's got this awesome feature I'm going to show you, but in a nutshell, mixed in key will take your digital music files, it will scan them and figure out the musical key of the song, and it will write the special key code for the musical key in the metadata of the track. So, just so you can kind of see what it looks like in the end. You can see how this 4A, 3A, right? I won't get too in depth on this, but basically these keys are representing musical keys. I won't get deep, but just so you can see what does this all mean? What does it all mean? This is the Camelot wheel. So 1A stands for A flat minor, 5A stands for C minor. Right, so basically any key you can mix with the same number or anything to the left or right, and that's all I'll say about that. But and this is used for harmonic mixing to help you find songs that sound good together. So let's just drag this whole folder of songs into mixed in key. Pow. So what mixed in key is doing right now is it's scanning all of these songs, and it's going to write the key of the songs into the metadata. So I write it into the comments so I can sort my playlist by comments and I can play harmonically. So I'm going to actually let this run for a second, and I'm going to answer some questions because you want to see the final result. So question from Joseph. Hey, Joseph, what's up? Does mixed in key data translate to record box and CDs? Yes. So mixed in key now works with Traktor, Serato, iTunes, record box, Engine Prime. It will write the key into your music, and you can kind of choose here where you want to write it. You can see I mean, there's tutorials online how to do this, but I write only the key. You can also do energy level, and I write it in front of the comment. So 10A comment, right? Just like that. You can overwrite the files if you want. Don't do that. Blah, blah, blah. But this is going to take a minute. And so while this is running, we have another question from Daniel. Daniel Mosquera says, on the tagger, once it's done, is the actual folder now, including the metadata, just like that. Yes, it is. So, and you can see in Mixed in Key, if I open this up, look at this. I mean, a lot of this was sent to me unreleased, no artwork, no metadata, but what it's done here is it's gotten the artwork, the title, you know, all of this stuff. It just did that for the whole entire folder and wrote that in. Yes. So it did that for every song in the folder that it could find. It's not going to find every song, right? But so Rob says, are you using Mixed in Key for the cue point feature? I do. So Mixed in Key can also write hot cues, 8 hot cues to your favorite track. So if I go to this fur coat track, let's see, why is it not showing? Oh, because it hasn't been analyzed yet. Let's see. There we go. So you can actually see, like, let's find a better track. So you can see that Mixed in Key has actually written 8 hot cues into my track, and it does this using a special machine learning that my friend Yakov has a patent on to write automatic hot cues to find the phrases. And it writes those into your DJ software, so you can actually, you know, it's a really cool way to just... Right, so it's written, and then when I open Traktor, you'll see that it has these 8 hot cues in my tracks. And yes, I do use that. The old me who had too much time on his hands would write all 8 hot cues manually, but this just does it for me automatically and gives me a nice visual picture. Oh, a bunch of questions. Yeah, so Mixed in Key 8 users here. Mixed in Key 10 has a much more accurate algorithm, and it has this amazing thing which I'm going to show you in just in a second once this is done. But the algorithm is much more accurate, and then it's got this edit tags feature, which is, and me, just worth the price of admission. Humberto says, I've read the circle of fifths for months. You just did the simplest explanation I ever heard. Yeah, thank you. And also, I don't even use the A and B. I use the numbers. You can mix a 5A with a 6B, or you can mix a 1B with a 2A. I don't even use the letters. Like the A's are minor, the B's are major. You just have to know how to add 1 or subtract 1. That's it. And just go around 1. There's, of course, some modulations where you can add 2 or add 7, but...
Also nowadays, almost any DJ software have a suggestion feature. So you're using CDJs, you're using Traktor or whatever, you can just, I mean, it's going to be highlighted. So that's very, I mean, if you're looking for a harmonic option, then it will be very easy to find.
Exactly. Yeah. And just for the sake, I'm going to open up Traktor while that's loading. So this is almost done. Yeah. So most DJ software has key detection built in. That's great, right? But none of them are as accurate as Mixed in Key. So I use Mixed in Key to key my music, and then whatever DJ software I'm using, I overwrite the results in that software with Mixed in Key's results. So I can use I can go here, I can search by key. Like, if I'm playing a song in A minor, I can search by key, type in A minor, and it actually, in Traktor, it shows me A minor, D minor, E minor. Little pro tip if no one knows about this. But, there you go. Search by key. And, yeah. So, all right. So now let's check out this. It's done here. I'm going to go to this edit tags feature. And I think this comes from MetaBliss, which was another program made by Mixed in Key. It's now built in. So one thing that plagues my DJ world is this pesky original mix. What is original mix? It's the original mix of the song, right? Made by the artist. But look how many of my songs have original mix in it, right? Like almost like a quarter of them say original mix. Why? Why do we need this? This is extra reading that we have to do on stage in dark clubs at 3 a.m, right? You can get rid of all this. Check this out. Here where it says replace with, I'm going to type space original mix. And the space is important because you do need to get rid of that space. Replace it with blank. Watch what happens. I'm going to hit replace all. Bang. Gone. Bye, Felicia. No more original mix. I did that. I got rid of about 6,000 songs that said original mix in my collection. And I didn't realize how much I hated it until it was gone. So there goes. Also, in the comments, you get, sent by dispersion PR. Get rid of it. Goodbye. What is it? Purchased at beatport.com is another one. So you can get rid of all this text, right? And that's it. So Mix and Key has done its magic, cleaned up all my collection that I just tagged with Beatport. So I know it sounds like a lot of stuff, but this is just my process. All right, so now we got the music. I'm going to save. Yes, you have to make sure to save. Thank you, Yakov. Okay. So now we're making progress. We bought our music. We've downloaded our promos. Let's just drag all this great music into my new promos, into iTunes. And look at this, guys. We have a lot of music. A lot of it's got the genres. We got genres, artists, titles, release, all that stuff. Release date. Yay. We got the release dates. So, of course, I'm going to go through this new promo. It's almost like the same thing as what I was doing with Spotify, where there's like 2 rounds with this one. Round 1 is go through the promos, figure out what I want to keep, and then I drag them to my Dropbox folder, and then I'm good. I got the tracks. It's tagged. It's ready to play. It's, throw that baby in Traktor, and you got this. You're like a librarian. You got this cleanly tagged, awesome music that you absolutely love, that you've hunted for, And I do this whole, I go through all this every week. I'll go through all my promos, drag, what's for me, what's for me. At the end of that, I just take that, drag them out, and I put them in that nice old little Dropbox folder. What month is it? June. Here we go. Right. Drag them in. And, oh yeah, baby. We're good. Right. Open Traktor, import them. Right. And then, once we're Traktor RU. And of course, you also see I use Denons. I mean, that's a whole nother beast. But I always bring it into Traktor first. And Engine Prime has a Traktor import feature, so I can import my playlist that I'm going to actually play from into Traktor, or Rekordbox users. You could do whatever you got to do. But yeah, I kind of bring it all into Traktor, tag it. I mean, you could see. Look, this is what Mix and Key did. These are not my hot cues. Mix and Key did this. So awesome. I mean, yeah, that was a lot to take in, right? But now we're at the process where we got the music into our DJ software and it's tagged. We even got hot cues. I mean, look at this. I mean, look how neat my library is. I got the album artwork. I have release date, and Traktor fixed release date in their new version. So thank you for that. And I can sort by release date. Whew. A lot of stuff there, you all, a lot of stuff. But that's kind of how I get from point A to B. I'm going to pause and take some questions here.
Well, I actually have one. Let's say you're invited to a gig and for some reason they don't have the Denon, which is the unit that you're mostly using nowadays, and you have to play with the other brands or any unit. So what would you do? Do you take your laptop and would you go to with Traktor for that particular gig, or would you kind of export this specific playlist for that gig on another DJ platform? What would you do if there are no kind of hardware that you ask or you request or you usually use?
Good question. And I think a pro DJ should be able to DJ on any platform and be ready to DJ on any platform. So I have a USB drive that I bring to my gig. And what I've done, my trick is I use the disk utility to format it to FAT32 and Mac OS Extended. It's 50/50 because the Denons use FAT32, the Pioneers use Mac OS Extended, and they won't work with each other. So I have Rekordbox playlists and Denon playlists on the same USB drive, so I can plug into either one and use it. And then for the Traktor stuff, I always carry everything I would need to play anywhere, right? I carry a bunch of USB cables, so I can plug in the Pioneers in HID mode if I need to. And most of the mixers now have sound cards, so I just plug my laptop into the mixer, and that's my sound card. So always be prepared to play on any platform. So I always carry backups. So, if I show up at a party and an after party and they just got Pioneers, I could play off my Rekordbox, or, if I have the time to do a sound check and all that, I can play off a Traktor, or they have the Denons, which I hope they will more. Then I could play on the Denons. And let's say something tragic happens on tour and your laptop dies and your USB drives. Now I got those title playlists, those link playlists. If the venue has Wi-Fi, that's just another backup system. Not that I would want to do that, but it's there.
Well, I guess it's a great thing that we have so many options nowadays. Meaning that if you understand the possibilities and you prepare as you do, you will be able to almost navigate any situation and perform with the music that you intended from the beginning. Also, I don't know, there's also some apps for the phones that you can plug into CD units. Maybe that would evolve between platforms. I don't know if Beatport is going into that direction, but hopefully, yeah. I mean, an iPhone or a phone it's a tool that we all have. So
yeah, you bring up a great point. I think like Pioneer has an app that you can just plug in and play songs off your phone. And things are going to be different next week than they are right now. I'm telling you that now. Like next week there might be a new app. And 2 weeks from now, we might have 5G, and suddenly internet in a club is not an issue because, you can connect your equipment to the 5G network, and suddenly you can use Tidal and Beatport Link, and but yeah, I mean, Beatport has that iPhone app now, so you can make your Link playlist on the phone, while you're on the go. There's just so much happening all the time that. Who knows what's next, right? And Eric Calvillo called out Traktor, X1, and sound card. Yeah, that is the dream team right there. It's a good to have for a backup. Okay, getting a bunch of questions. So I use Serato. I have to adjust the beat grid of the songs where the beat grid doesn't start right at the beginning, so it matches the beat. Does Mix and Key correct the beat grid automatically? So with Mix and Key, at least with Traktor, you have to analyze it first in Traktor, and then you analyze it in Mix and Key afterwards. So Traktor does the beat gridding, then Mix and Key does the cue points. There is a weird bug with that, which I think someone called out, where sometimes the beat grid is on beat 2 or the hot cue is on beat 2. You just kind of got to manually fix it. Either deleting the beat grid, putting it at the beginning, or use the tap feature in Traktor to fix it. Yeah, and so sometimes mix and key hot cues aren't perfect, and maybe one day they will be. All right. Hopefully that answered the question. Another question: if you had 1 week to prepare for the sickest gig you ever had, how would you curate a playlist that you knew would fit the illest and sickest beats no one else was going to have? Have you heard those tracks before? What would you do? Well, this is what I've been doing. I mean, I start with the Spotify, get all the newest tracks of the week. I'm trying to rebrand myself as a DJ who plays new music. And this is how I've been doing it. And Inflyte, getting all those unreleased music. And, really it's just like a pot that you're just boiling down until you get the product, right? And then from there, from the product, I think about the gig. Like, where am I playing? A futuristic club in Ibiza, with 360-degree visuals and subwoofers in the floor. I don't know. I would just go through and say, what vibe am I going for? What DJ am I playing after? What DJ am I playing before? What kind of music do they like? And, how am I going to take people from point A to B? But basically just following this process and then digging through my own library. I mean, after all of this that I just showed you, there's the whole other gig preparing process, which I don't want to keep you here another 3 hours for, but, then it's just about going through all that music that I now have and figuring out what fits that set or that vibe. And I don't think 2 of my sets are the same. I'm always doing something different and always trying to innovate my sound and be ahead of where I think the music's going. But, oh wow, okay, more questions. Have you ever tried Mixo.dj? No, but I am going to now. What is this? Yeah, so this is something that's needed in the DJ world. Something is needed, a playlist converter that takes your collection from one platform and keeps it updated on the others. I mean, there's been Playlist Converter, Record Buddy. I've had a nightmare. I mean, Z-Trip wiped out his whole entire library with one of these tools once. It was, be careful with these things. Back up your stuff if you're going to use them. But Mixo.dj, no, I've never tried it. So check that out. Do you still crate dig old school? Yes, I still love my vinyl. I still, all my vinyls, UK breaks, new school breaks, and I do still crate dig. You might find me at an Amoeba Records near you, just digging for hours a day. Yeah, I miss vinyl, you guys. I'm just an analog person in a digital world, really, at the end of the day. But
you know what I miss the most? The crate digging, but not necessarily kind of visiting record stores around the world, but more like the relationship with the owner of the record store, the conversation or just gathering, meeting people there, and just that particular moment where you are at the record store and you interact with other DJs, you meet people, you discover music through people, not necessarily through an algorithm. I miss that one.
Correct. And just a kind of a fun fact about my history. I used to work at Satellite Records in Boston when I was going to Berkeley as a student. I was working in Satellite Records and I was an intern. They used to make me alphabetize the whole record store, literally. And, that experience, I missed it. This the social aspect and the networking with other DJs, and the record buyer at the store knows your taste. And, you walk in and they got a stack of records for you waiting, right, to dig through. So I miss it. And then, something about vinyl. There's no preparation with vinyl. You buy it, it's there, you grab it, you put it on the record. That's it. No Beatport Tagger, no crates, records, Soundiiz. You just, it's the record. Grab it, play it. It sounds great, and there's just something to be said about less is more and how you can be creative having less options. But this is how I navigate the options. But let's see. And someone said, L Train, the what DJ am I playing after? That's one wish I thought of before I started doing live sets. Yeah, I mean, I used to be a rave DJ. I mean, I still am a DJ and be a raver for life. But, in clubs now, everyone's just so like, oh, you got to book a similar genre DJ before, book a low BPM DJ before the tech house DJ. But I was playing raves. I was playing breaks after a Gabber DJ, or I would play after DJ Craze playing jungle and come into like a break set, right? So, my mentality is look at what the DJ before you is I always look up both. I looked up the SoundCloud of the person before me and after, and I say, what's this person going to play? How am I going to come out of their set? And how am I going to lead into the next DJ respectfully? So I have to pick records that will do that, but also tell my story and, keep people dancing and, all things that you got to consider. But yeah, that was, wow.
You were able to cover a lot, many tools. People, this is been an amazing experience, an amazing journey through interesting tricks, interesting tools to solve specific issues that might be different in the future. Like probably these main platforms will fix stuff, but still the idea of being able to get where you're gonna get by using all kinds of tricks is, I mean, it's mind blowing. And I'm sure that many people here will take a couple of tricks and improve their workflow and hopefully save some time and get to hear more about the music that they are choosing to play and then to buy.
Exactly. And I hope, you all picked up a few tricks here and there, throughout my crazy process. And who knows, one day, the Beatport app might have My Beatport and I don't have to do this all anymore. And that's going to be a great day. But until then, this is where we're at. This is what I'm doing. And this is how we've been navigating it. And hope you all have took something out of this. But really, for me, it's just all about the music and my obsession for the music, finding it, playing it, sharing it. And I really appreciate you all coming to this and geeking out, because this is something I've been doing behind the scenes and nobody knows, what we have to go through just to find some cool tracks. I got another question from Dom Young. Might be off topic. So he says, he finds himself with great finds while digging that are usually only available on vinyl. Do you advise against vinyl rips, or is it something that should work fine? Great question. Actually, one of my projects over this pandemic was I took my entire vinyl collection and looked up every song on Spotify that I have on vinyl and made a vinyl playlist. So I got my whole vinyl playlist in Spotify doing the same trick, that just typing it in, putting it into a playlist. So there you go. That's how you get your vinyl into the digital world, but not every song is available, like you said. So there is some times where you have to do vinyl rips, which is recording vinyl into digital. I have not had good experiences with that. The problem with vinyl rips is, well, you want a really good quality sound card, not just like a consumer sound card. Like you want like something, really high-end sound card if you're going to get a good vinyl rip, and good cartridges, good needles as well. But, I found that, first of all, vinyl fluctuates in nature. So the BPM is not stable. It fluctuates. So if you're a DJ who uses sync, forget about it. You're going to have a hard time. The other thing is auto gain with vinyl rips is always wrong. Like the vinyl rips are always quieter than everything else, and I have to boost the gain a lot. and you lose some sound quality, blah blah blah. But people like David Morales who got these $20,000 sound cards and a Pro Tools rig where they can remaster their vinyl rips. I mean, that's to me, that's how the best way to do it. But if you got an Audio 6, I guess now Audio 6, and you can record into Traktor your vinyl and you can play it digitally that way. Just watch out for those things that I talked about.
Like, if you were to actually rip a vinyl, what would be your tools? Which tools would you use actually? I mean, would you use an Audio 6, and what type of turntable? Don't want to get too deep on it, but I mean, so, there's a lot of people ripping vinyl. So what tools would you use?
Yeah, let's get deep. I like it. I mean, right behind me, you see my mixer has a USB sound card. I might just plug my turntables into the Pioneer and just record it into Traktor. Traktor has a recorder. You just set the input, and you can just record right into the Pioneer. Or if you have Audio 6, you could just plug your turntable into the Audio 6, record into Traktor. I mean, or you can record into Pro Tools, Logic, whatever you use. I'm just a Traktor guy. That's what I would use. And then from there, I would take the vinyl rip. Well, for me, what I would do is, what would Endo do? He would throw his vinyl rip into RX, remove all the clicks and pops in RX with the D-click module and the D-crackle module, get rid of the pops. Then I would throw it maybe into Ozone and give it it's an iZotope mastering, and just give it a little, I hate compression, I hate limiting, but just to give it a little beef, kind of maybe kill maybe those really high transients, I might remaster it. Or if you're lazy, you can use platinum notes, but yeah. And then from there, you're good to go, and just tag it, make sure your metadata is right, and do all that. Thank you, L Train, for calling out my anagrams. Audio 6 is the Traktor Audio 6 is an audio interface made by Native Instruments, which allows you to, you can plug turntables, CDs, or it's just it's sound card basically. No Scarlett, what's up? Yeah. If you want to send me a Scarlett interface, I'll train. Please do. I'm taking donations. No, just kidding. Cool. But yeah, that's what I would do. But yeah, crate digging in the digital era. This is where we're at.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys. Well, thank you, Mike. This has been an amazing journey. Uh, we will be sending this session to all the people that participated today, so you will be able to revisit the thing, and maybe at some point we will be able, we might consider loading up into our YouTube channel. We'll discuss it with Mike, but I think we can do it. But yes, check out your emails tomorrow. You'll have like the recording of the session, and you will be able to you know to go over again and take some notes and start kind of improving, because there was a lot that Mike covered today, and amazing ideas, amazing tools. So thanks so much, Mike. Great to have you back at DJLab.
It's great to be here, even if it's virtual. I can't wait to be back in Costa Rica and
You will very soon, I'm sure.
drinking some Costa Rican coffee, not this stuff I'm drinking right now. And big thanks to everybody who tuned in, Pura Vida, and big thanks to all my students. I see you, Brian Cox, Daniel, everybody, Dom Young. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to get offline now and just dig through all this music. So
All right, guys. So thanks so much for being here, and we'll keep in touch.
thank you all. Peace out. Great to see you all.